the sky above the alien stronghold fractures like brittle ice. A blinding shockwave of kinetic force obliterates the dimensional barrier, searing heat flares across the command deck of the Terran dreadnought, vibrating through the titanium floor plates and rattling the teeth of every soldier bracing for impact. The void itself rips open, disgorging a massive fleet of obsidian hulls directly into the heart of the Nether Swarm's pocket dimension. Plasma cannons roar to life in a blinding blur of motion, carving through the alien defenses with absolute, calculated precision. They are not here to negotiate. They are here to rip the abducted youths from the claws of the enemy. 72 hours earlier, the universe was entirely different. Envoy Kalen paced the gleaming white floors of the Stellar Accord communication hub, a cold sweat breaking out across his brow. The monitors stared back at him, displaying nothing but flat static, a deafening, absolute silence from the loudest species in the cosmos. In interstellar diplomacy, a sudden, absolute deviation from established behavioral patterns is often a stronger indicator of critical intent than any overt action. The Terran's humanity, the abrasive, endlessly vocal newcomers to the galactic stage, had simply ceased to exist on the network. Kalen understood the danger immediately. For months, humanity had petitioned the Council. The Nether Swarm had been raiding border colonies, stealing thousands of galactic youth, yet the governing bodies of the Accord ignored these pleas for help, choked by endless bureaucratic hurdles and endless debates. Kalen knew the cost of inaction. When the system fails to protect the vulnerable, marginalized groups will always bypass that system with extreme, paradigm-shifting measures. Humanity had reached a moral absolute, establishing uncompromising ethical boundaries, such as the universal protection of children, had unified their entire species overnight. To find answers, the Accord dispatched Inspector General Torin directly to the Terran homeworld of Gaia. His dropship broke through the atmosphere, its thrusters screaming against the wind as he expected to find the ruins of a massive planetary strike. Instead, Torin found perfect, empty cities left behind, not in defeat, but in ruthless pursuit. The sprawling metropolis of the Prime Citadel stood pristine, powered by humming fusion reactors, yet utterly devoid of biological life. Every vehicle remained parked, every defense grid remained active. Torin walked through the abandoned command centers, feeling the latent heat of server banks that had just been purged of all navigation coordinates. Humanity had not been wiped out. They had willingly ripped their entire civilization out of standard reality. The galaxy's most unpredictable threat had just become its most terrifying guardian. They realized the conventional rules of war could not touch an enemy hiding in a pocket dimension. So the Terrans adapted, evolving their entire fleet to follow the monsters into the deep void. Darkness no longer hid the predators of the cosmos. Humanity had learned to weave through the fabric of space itself, relentlessly hunting the swarm where they felt safest. Torin stared up at the empty sky above the pristine city, finally understanding the sheer magnitude of what the Terrans had done. He keyed his communicator, hands trembling slightly as he opened a secure channel back to Envoy Kalen. The message he sent would permanently alter the geopolitical power dynamics of the known universe. Here is Part 2, concluding the high-octane narrative of the Terran fleet as requested. The command deck of the Terran flagship vibrates with raw, unbridled power. Captain Elias grips the primary console, gritting his teeth as the inertial dampeners struggle against the sheer velocity of their assault. Outside the reinforced viewport, the alien stronghold shatters. The Nether Swarm, entirely accustomed to prey that runs, is wholly unprepared for a predator that strikes with the kinetic force of a dying star. Volleys of concentrated hard light punch through the jagged spires of the swarm's central citadel. The battle is a blur of motion, a synchronized storm of destruction, executed at the speed of thought. The swarm's organic interceptors pour from the hangars, but the Terran gunners trace their flight paths with lethal algorithmic efficiency. Plasma fire illuminates the void in blinding flashes of cobalt and gold. This is not a war of attrition, it is an eviction. Elias watches the telemetry streams cascade across his retinal display. Deep within the core of the largest spire, thousands of localized life signs flicker on the tactical map. The abducted youth, the stolen future of 100 different Accord worlds. Breach the containment sphere, Elias orders, his voice slicing through the roaring hum of the fusion drives. Zero collateral damage. Bring them home. Assault pods launch from the underbellies of the dreadnoughts, streaking toward the alien fortress like hypervelocity meteorites. They smash through the outer hull plating, deploying platoons of mechanized infantry directly into the holding sectors. The soldiers move with relentless speed, searing heat ripples from their weapon barrels as they clear the corridors, melting through the swarm defenders in seconds. They do not hesitate. The uncompromising moral absolute of their mission fuels every breached door and every calculated strike. Inside the massive central holding sphere, thousands of alien children brace for the end. The primary blast doors detonate, caving inward with a concussive shockwave. A squad of Terran Marines steps through the fading smoke. The towering figures, clad in gleaming titanium armor, lower their rifles. The lead Marine kneels, the armor plates retracting from his helmet, to reveal a human face. He extends a hand toward a terrified child, offering a steady, reassuring nod. Across the pocket dimension, the remaining swarm strongholds collapse into burning, pulverized debris. The Terran fleet does not stay to conquer the dead space. They simply obliterate the military infrastructure, load the transports with the innocent, and throttle their engines. When the final rescue ship docks with the Armada, the Accord waits for humanity to return to the prime citadel on Gaia. They never do. Inspector General Torin watches the deep space scanners from his empty outpost, finally understanding the true scale of humanity's evolution. They have no intention of returning to the bureaucratic stagnation of normal space. Existing now as interdimensional sentinels, the Terran fleet scatters across the cosmic void. They have become the permanent border patrol of reality itself, ready to violently enforce the safety of the vulnerable. The galaxy's most unpredictable threat has claimed the spaces between the stars, a blinding force of light forever hunting the monsters. Would you like me to help you brainstorm another scenario or explore a different genre with this storytelling style?